You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Andy Smith.
And I'm Tim Fulton.
And this is Fight Fan Weekly, but
Kind of.
there is no fights. So, this is going to be Corona Chronicles Part 3, our lockdown activities review. So, last time we gave a bunch of activities to do during lockdown. Let's see how many of them we did. I'm going to go with not that many.
No, I'm going to say the same.
I will extend an olive branch to our inner laziness, I guess, in saying that both of us have been working still full time.
That's very true. That's very true.
You know, you're working from home. I'm actually still going to work. So my life really hasn't changed schedule wise a ton. It's actually gotten busier for me at work than it has before this. So
You know what? I'm not sorry to interrupt you, but
No.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I no longer have the commute problem I used to have, which is a godsend, but I've been so insanely busy at work, which is my living room, that I can barely keep up. By the time 4 o'clock rolls around, I'm half dead.
Yeah. That's I'm with being half staffed and understaffed before this even began. Like everything's just a little bit crazier at work, so it's almost like I'm busier now, which is like it's kind of weird. Like you're almost like an alien, like looking in on everyone else. Like, what's going on? What's this lockdown thing about? I want to get in on that. Let me get some lockdown.
Let me get some lockdown. Do they sell that at the store?
Yo, let me get a 20 lockdown, just like 2 days worth.
That sounds like a 40 ounce.
Yeah. Some lockdown.
You want to play some Edward Lockdown Hands?
So I have my list here from the last time we did it. So let's go over some of the ones that we've done since the lockdown. We're probably not the best examples because we still have been working, but what are some of the activities that you have done to keep yourself somewhat sane during this lockdown?
So I will start off with one that we actually did suggest. I have started working out. It is not going the best.
Okay.
I worked out twice last week so far. On Wednesday, when I finally decided to get my ass in gear, took a day off Thursday and worked out again Friday. It's been super makeshift. I definitely am not getting anywhere near what I should be getting, but this is all like a giant learning stage. So I'm kind of just happy that I got myself up to actually do a thing as opposed to just continually sitting on the couch. Because this learning stage was going to happen no matter what. That or I was never going to do anything.
Yeah,
plus
man.
Plus my pull-up bar came. So starting on Monday, I get to start doing pull-ups.
Yeah. Doing something is always better than doing nothing.
Yep.
So what kind of workouts have you been doing, and how is that pull-up bar? I saw the picture of it. Does it work good? Have you set it up?
No, I haven't. It's literally still on the box.
Okay.
Thanks for calling me out, bro.
Getting a lot of pull-ups done in the box, I bet.
It all starts Monday.
So what have your workouts been like? Like what kind of things have you been doing?
So I've been trying to work on like circuit workout type things. I'll go back and forth between upper body and lower body, and I'll try to vary what I'm doing. So I'll do like I'll start by doing a push-up, and then I'll do lunges, and then I'll do dips, and then I'll do squats, the calf raises. I don't have any weights, so they're weightless. So I kind of increase the quantity. And then I'll vary it up. Like I'll change up what kind of push-up I'm doing. I'll do whatever.
Yeah, we're kind of limited unless you have like a bunch of equipment. I've been trying to keep things pretty simple, and because I'm still working and everything like that, I just want to do something right now that I know I can do every day when I get home. And it's like I don't have to have like this incredibly difficult setup or something that's I guess more prone to being ignored or skipped. So I basically just been doing a set number of pull-ups, push-ups, lunges, sometimes some deadlifts because I have like a 100 and some pound weight or whatever weight to do those, and then like I'll throw in some extra like maybe some rows, or some like reverse flies with some bands or something like that. But for the most part, I try to always do the push ups, pull ups, and the lunges, and I try to do like because you're looking at it like you don't want to like overwork or whatever, but nobody's going to be overworking it at the home workout for the most part.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like slowly increase. I've already upped the amount of pull-ups I can do, and
That's good.
yeah. So I think it's good. Like even if you don't grow or whatever, as long as you're just activating the muscle, just so you don't lose whatever you got, or kind of keep it at least from being complete attrition. I think it's a win-win. Given the circumstances with not having an actual gym to go to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and there is definitely something to be said because one of the things that I think a lot of people are finding is that they have like way too much energy during this whole thing. Like
Yeah.
I think because they're like nobody's actually going to work, like they're not having to get up early and all this stuff, that they have all this new energy, and trying to fucking aim that sometimes is difficult. And working out definitely helps because you can actually go to sleep at night. It's like everyone's got like restless leg syndrome in their whole body.
You know what's funny? I have been experiencing the exact opposite. Not to call you wrong, but dude, because I have nothing to do. I barely have anyone to talk to, and I spend like my days like I constantly have the TV on in the background making noise. So it's not even like I get to go home and watch TV and relax for a little bit because it just doesn't feel like that. So like I've been going to bed at 9 and I've been waking up at 5 because I've just gotten so much sleep already. Started doing my workouts. I'm like, all right, I wake up at 5. I don't have to start working for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I have all this time. So that's why I started doing that then. But
Do you think that maybe part of the reason that you're tired is that there's no interaction, and like previous times where like when there's no interaction, your body's kind of like accustomed to being like, okay, now's the good time to go to bed because like everything's winding down and there's like no kind of like busyness around you, that your body's just kind of like, all right, let's like, it's clearly time to lay down because there's nothing going on.
oh, 100%. Dude, my entire schedule was bumped forward. Normally, like, I'll be active until like not all the time, not every night I'm like out doing shit, but like I'm normally active until like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And then I'll go home, I'll sit on my couch, maybe I'll throw a TV on for background noise and I'll play on my computer. I'm doing that at like 7. So
Yeah.
like my body just hits that, oh, it's night, like super early.
Yeah. That's not such a bad thing. Does it feel good to like go to bed early for a change and get up early for a change?
I have mixed emotions about it. Part of me is happy that I actually have all that time to sleep.
Yeah.
Another part of me, it's making the days blend into one. It's making
Oh yeah.
yeah, it has its pros and its cons.
Okay. So what other activities have you tried?
I've watched TV, sir.
Whoa, venturing out.
Venturing out.
So what's on TV? What have you been watching?
I have binge watched 2 series. One called Archer, which I know that a lot of people probably know. It's out on Hulu. For
That's
those of
the
you,
animated one about the spy, the comedy.
yeah, it's fucking hysterical. B, it gets weird in the later seasons. So I don't want to spoil it completely, but on like season 4 or 5, the writers just decided we don't want to write about spies anymore. So they just said, fuck it. In the show, everyone basically quits and it becomes completely different. Like it just becomes a different show.
Oh.
And every season since then, it's completely different. Like I can't even describe to you how it makes sense, but you never
Like
know what you're watching and it's fucking hysterical.
like every season is a different occupation for everyone, cuz I used to watch that all the time, but I never got to the point where they weren't spies.
Yeah, not to give too much away, so I won't explain it too much because it's all kind of spy like, but They're not spies anymore. They're
Okay.
100% not spies anymore. They're all doing different shit.
Working at Dunkin', shit like that.
I'll just put it as it gets tremendously better, and it was always a good show.
Okay. All
Because they
right.
just completely dropped their original premise, it just gets fucking hysterical.
Had you watched that show before the lockdown?
Oh yeah, I love that
Okay.
show.
Have you started any new shows since?
I watched a couple of shows that I dropped instantly. There was one show on Netflix that was recommended that it looked like Game of Thrones-ish. There's this little kid, I guess he becomes a wizard or something.
What's it
And
called?
I don't remember because I only lasted an episode, and honestly, I lasted half attention, lost track.
Okay. Yeah,
It
there's
was
a
like Game of when we
Okay.
interrupt each other and no one knows who to go first.
Go ahead.
It's like Game of Thrones, except season 8 quality the entire time.
Okay. So yeah, I think I might be watching less TV now. I'm not really sure.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What about you? What are some of your things you've been doing?
Well, I sort of say by watching less TV, because like when I would get home, I would go to the gym and then I would, come back and watch TV. But now when I get home, my workout doesn't take that long because I don't have to drive to the gym. So it only takes like a little bit. So then I have like way more time. So then like it's kind of daylight out still. So I can kind of go outside and do that, like all that kind of stuff. And because I'm still working, like I still have like a list of a ton of things I got to get done like during the spring/summer. So I'm still trying to like chew those down. Like I was kind of looking forward to being home for a couple weeks because I would have got all that stuff done early, but I'm trying to like just keep doing the same thing. I don't think I've started to watch any new shows. But I have been going back and looking up older movies that I haven't seen in a long time. Like old classics like Jaws. I watched Jaws last night.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And it's really weird, man, because those kind of movies, and as I was watching it, I was thinking about this, right? All those classic movies that I remember from when we were kids, like world-renowned movies like Jaws. Everyone remembers Jaws that has ever seen it. Everyone remembers the movie. But there's so much in those movies that you don't remember. And there's a lot of things in the movie that you don't remember why that made it so good. Like, how many Jaws movies did they make after Jaws 1? Like 50, right?
Yeah,
but,
that sounds about right.
Yeah, but the actual Jaws, like the original one, like it was actually like a good movie. Like the plot was like halfway decent as far as like for like a monster shark movie. But also like there's so many scenes in it that you don't remember, and then you rewatch and you're like, holy shit. Like this is like it. When people think of Jaws, they just think of like, that theme music and like the over the topness. But for the most part, when you watch it, it's a very serious movie. It's
don't
not.
Forget that was a Steven Spielberg movie, wasn't it?
I believe, yes, it was, and but it's always like portrayed like when you think about it, don't you think of it like of an over the top monster movie?
Yeah.
It's every time I go back, sometimes I get like kind of surprised again when I see older movies like that, where like you misremember like the whole feel of a movie.
Yeah.
And that's one, like every time I go back and watch it, I always like am kind of like happily shocked about how good some of the scenes of the acting are in that movie. Like I thought that dude that played Quinn, the crazy boat guy, I think his name was Robert Shaw. I thought that guy should have got an Oscar for that movie.
It's one of those movies where you look back on it and you're like, oh shit, this was a good movie on top of being a good horror movie.
Yeah. It was a solid movie. I'm trying to think of the other ones that I watched. I went back and watched Armageddon. I love that movie. I watched it, every once in a while I'll throw that on because it's a fun movie to watch. But I haven't started any new shows yet. I don't have a good reason why though. Like, I guess maybe because I don't really have any additional time. Because there's a couple ones I have to finish. Like I didn't finish The Witcher yet. I didn't finish Jack Ryan yet. And I
haven't even started either of those.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that there's like, those are two shows that I like. Jack Ryan. The first season was awesome. I started the second season, never finished it. The Witcher, I watched like 4 or 5 episodes of. And right now, there's only one season of The Witcher and there's only 2 seasons of Jack Ryan. And I'm like, if I start another show, there's going to be another season out by the time I finish it. And then I got to watch that much more. And I'm going to be so lost, I'm going to have to rewatch it again. So
you make it sound like a fucking job.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it sometimes when like people go to talk to you about something and you're like, I want to be able to talk to you about this, but I don't have the time. Like I got responsibilities, man. All right, so watching movies. What else? What else have you done?
Been watching more TV shows, video games.
Video games. So
what?
Video games. So what kind of video games you been playing?
Zelda Breath of the Wild. Started from the beginning. That's going to take me 1,000,000 hours, so it's going to get me through this whole shebang.
Now, I know that we've talked about this before. I've never played Zelda.
So,
is Breath of the Wild the first one? I don't think it would be with a name like that.
What? No, it's the newest one.
Okay. I didn't know they were still coming out with them.
No, it's like a cornerstone for the company. So they come out with a new console. One of the first things that they do is pop out a new Zelda. And it has a sequel coming out too.
Okay.
So the cool thing about Legend of Zelda from the get-go was that the game isn't really too complicated. The princess, she's in danger, go save her, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of on repeat, but the lore has always been super complex. Like the storylines per game don't always get super in-depth, but the background, if you really, really, really look into things, can be super interesting.
Yeah, that's like Warcraft. Like you can play the game for what it is as like a simple thing, or you can get as in depth as you want, and like it's almost like you're going down a cave and there's a straight shot to the end, but there's all these like side tunnels that can lead for miles.
Yeah, exactly. So in Breath of the Wild, they kind of like doubled down on that aspect of it. The storyline, there is one, but it's almost non-existent.
Okay.
But there is so much cool shit that if you really look into it, and really think about it, like it just adds so many layers to like the universe, I guess, that they have going on there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one of those games that I partly regret that I never had the console for and never got to play, because there's games like that, like that's me with Warcraft, right? I played the Warcraft games since basically the first or the second one came out.
Yeah.
So like I remember all the stuff, and back then, like really, really good games, like especially like back then, like if a groundbreaking game came out, like everybody knew about it. And you like everyone played it to exhaustion, right? Like I'm sure you played the first Zelda more times than you can possibly imagine. And nobody has time to do that anymore. So, but as a kid, you get so wrapped up in it, like all those names and everything are like ingrained in your brain. So when you see like them talking about this shit in the new games, like that brings back that nostalgia and you remember all that shit. Whereas if somebody got into it now, it's like they don't have that because they didn't see it or play it when they came out or when they were a kid. I look at it almost like when people that never watched Star Wars, either when it came out or when they were a kid, and then they try to go back and watch the original Star Wars, and they're like, "This is stupid." Like I don't get it.
It's just not the same. It doesn't have that nostalgic feel to it.
Yeah, or like if you watched Star Wars when it first came out in the 70s, like groundbreaking special effects, like the story was crazy, all this stuff. But if you watch it now and you didn't watch it and you're not a kid, you're kind of like, well, I'm not amazed by the special effects, and it seems very goofy to me. So
no, I know exactly what you're talking about. And real fast, going back to Breath of the Wild, there's this one part. So the first Zelda I played was for the N64 because that was the big console that we had growing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's this one song in there, the Song of Time, that is recognizable immediately. Like you play like the first 3 notes, anyone who played that game would be able to pick up on it.
Okay.
So what they do for the Breath of the Wild, you go to a familiar part that was in that last game, and they're playing the Song of Time, but they slowed it down like extensively to the point where you don't know what song it is, but in some weird effect, it still brings back that nostalgia feeling. Like you don't know why you feel nostalgic. You just do.
Like it resonates almost like if like I look at it like if somebody took like a hardcore metal song and made a piano version of it, like you wouldn't recognize why you like it, but you know that you like it.
100%. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah,
dope.
that is pretty dope. So other than that, let's see here. What did we have? We had binge watch shows. Oh, any Audible books?
No.
Okay. I was playing Warhammer. I played that game a couple times, a Total War game. I was still almost done with Jocko Willink's book on Audible. The what the hell is it called? Jesus Christ! You think I would know after 9 hours of listening to it? So there's what about regular books?
You know what? I haven't been. Mostly because I like the feel of a paper book in my hand, and I don't have anything new right now. But you bring up a good point. My brother gave me a book recently, and I put it away somewhere, and it's like a fitness book. And I told him I would read it, and I have no excuse not to, and it's not that long, so I need to break it out soon.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you should. Legos.
Have you been playing?
I broke them out. I set them up. I ended up sorting them for a couple hours because I didn't like the way they were that I had previously sorted them.
You're such an adult.
Yeah. But then when I was looking at everything, I realized that when I had them out on it was like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. And it was at on a Sunday or something. And I was like, okay, it's going to take up my whole living room. And I know I'm not going to be in the mindset to want to play this after work or like put things together after work. I'm like, do I want my whole living room to be Legos for a week? No,
Yeah.
I don't.
That's
So
fair.
yeah, so I ended up putting them away, and I've been waiting for like a Sunday or a Saturday morning where like I don't have anything to do, and it was going to be today, and then it got nice out, and then we had to shoot the podcast, so it wasn't today, so it might be tomorrow.
That's fair.
Yeah. Let's see here. Did you do any yard work or housework?
My house has never been cleaner.
That's awesome.
Like, I just got done scrubbing out the microwave, which would have never happened within the amount of time that I've lived here if this lockdown did not exist. Yard work I've been waiting for Sunday to do for some reason. I don't know why, but in the back of my head, I just always have had Sundays yard day.
Okay,
So
that's fair.
tomorrow will be yard day. And yeah, I don't have a huge yard, so there's not a ton of shit to do. And I don't own a lawnmower right now, so I can't even mow my lawn.
Get some scissors. You got time. I think a quick tip for cleaning your microwave, if you take a coffee cup and fill it with water and put it in there for like a minute and a half, the moisture from the water loosens up anything that's stuck on the sides.
That's so funny, dude. That's exactly what I do.
Okay. Yeah,
then
well, cheat
I
code
use-
unlocked.
Cheat code unlocked. I actually use a measuring cup, and then I keep the measuring cup to the side, and I use it to dip like a sponge in as hot water.
That's a good idea too. Yeah, I've been doing some stuff around the house, cleaning leaves, moving some dirt, moving some plants, planted all my garden seeds today. A bunch of different kinds. I planted way too many. We do not have enough room for all of them. So I'm gonna have to make new gardens. I don't know where, but I'm gonna have to find room for them because now the clock is ticking. I hope they grow because I don't know what I'm doing, and I just put them in the dirt and did what I thought I had to do. So we'll see what happens. Did you do any syncing shows with other friends?
I have not.
Did you come
My
up?
fri-
Okay.
my friends have been sending memes back and forth, but that is like the extent of it. Like, I see all these other people doing cool shit. They're like FaceTiming or like whatever the cool thing is on the computer now. They're like playing board games online. They're doing that whole TV show online thing. My friends, none of it.
Yeah, me neither.
Everyone's just sending memes.
My friend's like, "Hey, are you dead?" No. Okay. Talk to you next week. Did you come up with a list of productive things to do?
Oh, was I supposed to do that?
Yeah.
Dude, I've had a productive list in the back of my head since dawn of time. It ain't getting done. I don't need to be reminded by making a list of things I'm not gonna do.
I don't need reminding on what a piece of shit I am, okay? Every morning when I brush my teeth, I get...
Dude, speaking of fucking memes, I saw this thing online. It was like a pastor saying, "Do unto others as you would do to yourself." And a guy pulls on home and he goes, "What's up, you fucking piece of shit? You're a garbage human being and you're worthless."
Yeah, now is a very good and horrible time for memes.
They're so good.
Yeah, they're so horribly good. Did you... we didn't do a D&D startup. We already talked about board games.
I almost did a D&D stuff with my brother, my sister-in-law, and my sister-in-law's little sister, but my brother decided he didn't want their first experience of Dungeons and Dragons to be online.
Smart move.
I don't necessarily agree with. I don't necessarily disagree with. I have very mixed emotions about the whole thing.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said with not having the first introduction to it have to do with technology, because it's not supposed to be about that. I think it's more like getting into forgetting about technology and just playing with people in front of you and kind of like getting into this fantasy world. And for whatever reason, I think that looking at something on a screen robs from that, especially if you're not used to playing it.
Yeah, which I can understand, but at the same time, there's no other option.
I agree with you there. Some D&D is better than no D&D. So we did. I know that I didn't look up any old fights or sports games on YouTube, so I know damn well that you did not. No paint by numbers. I know that's definitely going to be a no. Educational. We didn't do anything educational. I've been doing that book, but that's just very lazy because I'm just listening to it. I really can't say that I'm reading a book. I'm listening to a book. Okay. I'm having somebody else read it to me like I'm 6 years old. And then the last thing on the list that I had was the drunk zombie proof your house conversation. And I actually did that. I don't think I was drunk, but I did have that conversation with guess who?
Who?
Shane, the one I always have with. It was like 5 days after I told you about that. Or no, it might have been a week after.
Zombie proof.
Yeah, and we were just started talking about it, and he's like, "Hey, man," he's like, "I'm coming up by you if shit gets crazy." I'm like, "Oh yeah, like what kind of zombies we talking about?" I'm like, 28 Day Later zombies or like Walking Dead zombies, like, and he's like, "Well, if it's 28 Day Later zombies, we're all fucked." I'm like, "Yeah, we can't play 28 Days Later zombies. Nobody lives.
There's no way to get out of that one.
There's no way to get out of that one." So anything else that you have done that you don't normally do? Have you done anything like that since the lockdown?
No, man, my schedule has been depressingly. You know what? If anything, this has been enlightening because I've known that I should be doing more, but verbally saying I have done nothing for the past week. Or a week and a half is to be a little bit enough to kick my ass in gear for me to start exploring more things.
You know what I think is kind of a good and hard truth to face. And it's, I mean, as busy as I have and you have been at work, you can't go anywhere. So you are getting more free time because your options are limited, right? Like you can't use it as an excuse. Like, oh, I got to go to my buddies or I got to go to dinner, because you can't. Like you just have to stay at home. And I think one of those real things is like when you're like, oh, but yeah, my brother gave me this fitness book, or, you know, oh, I got this thing I've been wanting to do. And now that you know you have the time for it and you still haven't done it, you're like, all right, so pretty much I've been just making excuses. Like I just kind of don't want to do this thing that I know I should do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, but it's making me want to do those things more now. Yeah, like the things I've put off.
Yeah, because you don't want to have that feeling of, oh, I've just been making excuses. Yeah,
like I've had that with a couple things where it's like, oh yeah, I didn't do that because of whatever. And it's like maybe even if it's partially true, but there's sometimes like, no, No. You don't got nowhere to go. You can do that right now. And you're just like, yeah, but like I didn't watch season 5 of The Office for a 10th time this year. Like that's got to get done. Who else is going to do it? So yeah. So anything else on this one?
No, I think I'm good to go, bud.
All right, man. I am too. Well, everybody stay safe out there. Stay strong. And this has been the Bro Down Podcast by Fan Weekly, Corona Chronicles Part 3.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day.